Hello everybody! In this video I'm going to show you how you can improve your strumming. What are some of the common mistakes that people make when they're strumming their guitar? How can you fix those mistakes? And what can you do to move your strumming onto the next level? So the first mistake and the most common mistake that people make when they're strumming is simply to play too hard. Let me give you an example of playing too hard when you're strumming. Now, this is a good quality Martin guitar, but if I play it too hard like that, it's not going to sound very good. So what can you do to fix that? Well, one tip is to play with a thin pick. Now, the pick I was using there was a .73 millimeter, quite a thick pick. All right. Now, if I swap that out for a .46 millimeter pick, quite a thin pick, you can see I move it around quite a lot there. This is a Jim Dunlop pick, by the way. Very thin pick. That's going to help me get a lighter touch straight away. So the first tip is use a thin pick. The second tip is to relax when you're playing. So one way to help you do this is to hold your pick fairly loosely as you play, between your thumb and your index finger. Don't hang on for dear life, hold it fairly loosely. Relax your shoulder, your right shoulder as you play. And remember, you're not in a race, you're not trying to win some kind of competition. Keep it relaxed. Play softly. It'll sound much better if you do that. The next common mistake that people make when they're learning to play guitar is on every up and down stroke they tend to play all of the strings. So let's take a simple strumming pattern, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if I play all of the strings on every up and down stroke, it'll sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now there's nothing wrong with that while you're learning, of course, but if you want to go to the next level, make your strumming sound better, then differentiate between those beats and don't play all of the strings on every beat, so you can make it sound more like this. Now what I'm doing there is I'm focusing on the bass strings, so these strings 6, 5, 4, on the first beat and the third beat, and I'm focusing on the treble strings, these ones, strings 3, 2 and 1, on the second beat and the fourth beat. So I've got this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and bass, treble, bass, treble, bass, treble, bass, treble. And that's mimicking a drum kit. So if you think about the way a drum kit works, the bass drum, the kick drum, will play on the first beat and the third beat, classically. And the snare drum, which is that much higher sound, crisp sound, that'll play on the second and the fourth beat. And that gives you the backbeat that's behind so much rock and roll and country and most rock music, in fact. So just by thinking about our strings and hitting the bass strings on the first beat and the treble strings on the second beat, the bass strings on the third beat and the treble strings on the fourth beat, we can make our strumming more interesting. Now you can take that bass treble differentiation one step further by picking out particular bass notes on the first beat and the third beat of the bar. Let me show you an example using two common chords, G major and C major. Here we go. Now what I'm doing there is on the first beat of the bar on that G chord, I'm picking up the 6th string, and then I'm doing a down up on the treble strings, and then on the third beat of the bar I'm picking out the fifth string, and then I'm doing down, up, down on the treble strings. And then on the C chord, I'm starting on the first beat of the bar by picking out the fifth string, and then a down, up on the treble strings, and then on the third beat of the bar I'm picking out the sixth string, and then either down, up or down, up, down on the treble strings. So on G, it's sixth string, fifth string, and on C, it's fifth string, sixth string. And that kind of differentiation is really going to help you. Now, it might take you a little bit of practice to pick out particular bass notes, but if you stick at it, you'll be able to do it, and your strumming is going to sound a whole lot more interesting. Now, when you're learning guitar, you're focusing on changing chords and just getting that changeover between, let's say, the G major and the C major chord. And obviously that does take some time to do. But as your guitar playing improves and you get more confident and you can do those changes more easily, you can then move on to building in some hammer-ons into your playing. Like this. And if you get those hammer-ons right, you're going to get a beautiful sound. So let's have a look at how you can play those hammer-ons. The first hammer-on I was doing there was on the G chord, and I was doing this. So that involves playing the sixth string on the first beat, and then a quick down up on the treble strings, and then my hammer-on is going to use your middle finger, and you're going to take it off of that fifth string. You're going to play the fifth string open, and then you're going to hammer your middle finger back onto the second fret of the fifth string, and then you're going to play a downstroke quite lightly, focusing on the fourth string, third string, second string, and then on the treble strings, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So we've got this. And that just sounds lovely. I'm going to show you a hammer-on you can use with the C chord in a moment, but before I do that, let me just say, if you've been enjoying this video, please do hit the like button, and please also subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, so that you get notifications of all my future videos as they come out. Let's move on now and look at a hammer-on you can use on the C chord. Now, the C chord hammer-on is very similar to the G chord hammer-on, except that everything is one string higher. So we'll start by playing the fifth string, and then a down up on the treble strings, and then on the fourth string we're going to take our middle finger off, we're going to play opened, and then hammer our middle finger back on to the fourth string, second fret, and then we're going to play the G string, that's the third string, just really that string on its own. I normally play on this one. And then again we've got up, down, up, down, up, down, up on the treble strings. So we have this. And put those two hammer-ons together and you have this on your G chord. And then on the C chord. And it sounds really nice. So put all that together and you can have something that sounds a bit like this. So you've got a loose touch, relaxed. You're using a thin plectrum. You're remembering to differentiate between the beats, so you're playing bass notes on the first and the third beats, and your treble notes more on the second and fourth beats. And you're building some hammer-ons. And strumming has got to the next level.